Welcome everyone to our third and final day for our first ever virtual sprayer event for employees and customers. With C&B Operations, I'm the Vice President of Precision Ag, Jeff Buick.
I'm Nate Jansen, a Product Specialist with C&B Operations. All right, so today we're going to take a little bit different look and we're going to get into the Precision Ag side of the business and some of the features on our sprayers. Before we do that, before Jeff kind of walks us into some of the features that we'll be talking about, let's take a quick look at how we operate Zoom. So we've done this each of the last 2 days as well, but just want to do a quick recap. We want to make sure this is interactive and we answer any questions that you have. So you'll be seeing a screen pretty similar to this. The big thing I want to call out, down here at the bottom there's a Q&A button. That Q&A button allows you to type in any questions that you have. We've got people manning computers that'll allow us to answer any of the questions that you have, and it kind of keeps it threaded. So if you do have any questions, please be sure to put them in the Q&A. We'll be checking it regularly, and also we'll answer them live if we get the opportunity to as well. So over the last 2 days, we've been comparing John Deere, Hagie, AGCO Rogator, along with Case machines. And it's clear that John Deere and Hagie have proven advantages when it comes to performance related to cab, boom, frame, suspension, and nozzle technology, Jeff.
Right, yeah, and they've been some of my favorite tests of being able to sit in some of the competitive machines and actually operate them through this whole process, and that's been good. And so hopefully everybody's enjoyed that as well. Technology is one of the key differences that sets John Deere apart between all of these sprayers that we've been in. And they bring industry-leading technology that are developed and supported in-house by driving more technology R&D funds into these John Deere products compared to many of the other major agricultural companies on the market today. So from guidance to documentation, John Deere Precision Ag brings intuitive but yet affordable products to many of the operations we deal with today.
Absolutely. We think about how many acres our sprayers cover. It's becoming the most important part of a farmer's operation, and we've got a lot of guys that are doing custom application. We've got co-ops. Applying products efficiently and quickly to reduce cost of ownership and maximize our uptime is really, really important.
Almost a contest sometimes, right? How many acres can you cover in a day?
Absolutely. Yeah, loading efficiencies, the technology, it's all a lot of components that go into really maximizing those machines. And it's really important that everybody involved in that whole system understands both the technology that enables it and also the technology in the cab to help keep that operator moving. We want to cover the most amount of acres we can and also do it in a really quality way.
Right. So we'll be covering some of those things here today, and for our Precision Ag comparisons on sprayers, we use the same machines that were used in the prior two sessions, a John Deere R4030 and an R4045. A Hagie STS16, a Rogator 1100, and a Case 4440 Patriot sprayer. So let's hop on these cabs and take a look at setting up the display for each machine that we've used in these comparisons. Setting up John Deere displays is quick and easy when you go to the field. Here we're going to show you an example of selecting a product that is going to be applied. You can see the different rates that we can choose from. Here we're putting on Roundup at 32 ounces an acre with 10 gallons an acre of water. We're also going to throw some Select on here. So we're going to put on 8 ounces an acre of Select, and we're going to hit OK. So this loads our tank mix onto the display while we're in the field. We also can choose the controller rate, which is predefined, or we can implement a map-based prescription. On the top left corner of the screen, you can see the different rates that you apply. With the Gen 4, it's great, a great display to use in the field because if you see something, you can touch it. Here we've changed our standby pressure to 40 psi and our application to 10 gallons an acre for going through the field. So you can see it's real quick and easy to set up client farm field and set up the tank mix for what we're going to be applying. We're going to use our mobile phone to set up a job. We'll go into My Jobs and we're going to choose a client. And then we're going to go in and choose the field. So here's the list of all the fields. We can select multiple. In this case, we're only going to select one, namely the Clark 80. So we've got our equipment already preloaded. Now we're just going to go in and add the products that we want to apply to the field. In this case, we're going to be putting down some Roundup at 10 gallons per acre. So we're going to enter that in, and then we can put down any additional instructions that we want the operator to put down at the end of their job. For instance, if we want to track total fuel used, we can do that here on the phone. So here we can see the list of all of the jobs that we'll have to do for the day. I can open that job, see all the information. Maybe I don't know where this field is, so I can go into the map. But I could also get turn-by-turn directions to this exact field. So this eliminates the operator pulling into the wrong field. It eliminates the risk of the operator putting on the wrong product as well. So here we can see the Roundup at 10 gallons an acre. I can also add any notes that I want to at all. If I say that I used 20 gallons of fuel, I can type that in here. Or any other notes that I maybe want to take about conditions that I've seen in the field. These notes get tied to the job. Here you can see the note. Let's take a look at this Pro 700 display found in this case sprayer. Here we're looking at the main run page. You've got different run pages listed here on the bottom. Run page 1 through run page 6. You can see the different options within each category to take a look at totals, to take a look at guidance, and to take a look at boom pressures. Again, it's a touchscreen monitor, so you can switch your client, farm, and field in this display. And you can also select what crop you're spraying and what product that you're spraying. So this is the page that we would operate that on. Just going to go back here and we can take a look at the different options within the menu. We can take a look at the performance page, and we can hit our apply button to start applying. In this instance, we're just sitting still, working through the screens. Here's where we can import or delete information as it's found on the display. In this case sprayer, you do have a few different options for the technology that you use. Next, we're going to do a comparison of the Rogator 1100, and here is its display, the Raven Viper Pro. So we're going to go ahead and start a new job. So we're going to select new job, and then we can add in the job name. It then is going to ask us what kind of guidance line we're going to use for this job, so just doing a straight track, and how we're going to be controlling the boom sections. Just going to use a standard AccuBoom configuration. Then the Viper Pro asks us if we're going to be utilizing nodes to apply, or if we had dry products, we are going to be using chains. Then we input our product name up on the top, and if you're using a prescription file, you can put it in here. Then we're going to open the job, and from there we'll go to the field page where we can set our guidance line and start applying. Notice on the Rogator sprayer that they use a aftermarket company, Raven, to control their products, documentation, and guidance, in comparison to John Deere that has their own products developed by John Deere themselves. So you have a green-on-green solution when you go with John Deere. So some of the great things that we see with the John Deere Generation 4 display, first off, you've just seen the ease of use, right? You see it, you can touch it, and it takes you to whatever you're pressing on the screen, and you can make adjustments or find out a little bit more. And the other thing, when you have a new display, sometimes it's getting used to it, and there's an help menu that's right in there. So if you ever have questions, it tells you maybe why something isn't working or where you might need to go to.
Absolutely. Yeah, commonality between all of our machines too with the Gen 4 platform, whether you're in a sprayer, a floater, tractors, combines, it's all got the same look and feel.
The way that the software on this display is developed now is different than what we've had in the past with John Deere displays, and the difference is like on a 2600 or 2630 display, when you would add a new setup file or you just want to add one little piece of information, it overwrites the whole display. So you'd first have to export everything and then re-import everything, and you're limited on the size of the memory of the display. And with Gen 4 now, if I simply just have a customer call up, or I have a field call up, or neighbor needs something sprayed, I can send that field name and I can send a prescription to the display, and it just puts it right in with all the other data that's in there without overwriting anything on the screen. And to me, that's big, especially with sprayers, right? Because we're constantly sending new jobs to the sprayer and in different tasks. And to your point, the amount of acres you can cover in a day, there's a long list of things that need to be covered by that machine. So you're able to bring that in.
Absolutely. And the risk of data loss, like you're mentioning, Jeff, with overwriting data, bringing in setup information, the Gen 4 platform does a really nice job seamlessly bringing that all together. It also does a really nice job exporting the data out as well, which is one of the big changes when we get to the 2630 displays versus the Gen 4. The Gen 4's got a feature called Data Sync, and it allows that data to be pushed within every 30 seconds when we're out operating the machine. So all that information that's getting documented, if your machine's got JDLink Connect, we'll talk about that in a little more detail later, that data gets transferred every 30 seconds. If you have something crazy happen, lose power to the display, that information's been getting streamed to the operations center, where you can have it on your mobile phone, you can have it at your computer, you can tie it with your agronomist if you want. A lot of different things we can do. That data's backed up and secure. You don't have to worry about basically waiting to the end of the field when you change the field name and having that data get sent, which for 2630s is still great, but the Gen 4 takes it a step further.
Right, and 2630s transferred that data how often then? If Gen 4's 30 seconds, how often did the 2630 do it?
It depends is the answer, right? So whenever you change the field name, that packages up the data and sent the whole field all as one big bundle, which is still better than nothing, and it helps, again, get rid of that USB stick or forgetting that the data's on there, or again, having something happen potentially, and it just makes that data transfer more seamless. If somebody's sitting in the office, you can notice things more quickly as well.
The other things you'll come to appreciate about the Gen 4 display is just camera integration. So we can put 4 cameras into this display now. There's also triggers that are on there. So if you had a camera out the back side of the sprayer, if you put it in reverse, then it pulls up that camera. And so you can set some customization up with that. It even works great if you're wearing polarized sunglasses. I guess, a lot of sprayer operators are out during the peak of the day and in the sunshine and everything else. So our older displays, it's hard to see. So you can also add an extended monitor. And so, with everything that's going on in the cab and on the machine itself, you want to be able to view some of these things all at once. And so you can add an extended monitor. Looks just like the armrest display unit, but allows you to just kind of swipe through, almost like a tablet feel, between the different run pages that are fully customizable as well.
Absolutely. And just to another point you made there, Jeff, about the cameras, when we look at our new John Deere sprayers, we can order camera capability directly from the factory. So if you want a backup camera, if you want a camera by your fill station, we can integrate a lot of that directly from the cab and have the cameras integrated. We're not talking about floaters right now, but if you want cameras inside the bins, those triggers, when that bin level gets below the bin level sensor, they can pop up either on your main screen or on your extended monitor. You can tell it which one, so it doesn't cover up your guidance screen or things like that. And you get a real life view, live view inside of whatever you want to see.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's powerful.
And you take a look at Gen 4 just setting up the job, right? We're just, and it's not, I shouldn't even use the term job really, because we're just setting up the work that, we're assigning a product and we're changing client farm field name as we roll throughout the day. We didn't see that in some of the other displays that we worked with, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the job structure, if you will, is quite a bit different on the John Deere systems versus our competitors. One thing that I like about how John Deere's system is set up is you don't have to open and close jobs. So if you need to come back to a field, finish an application because you got rained out, or nighttime fell and you didn't want to do your post application, you can actually come back in the Gen 4. If you're on the same field, you can look at different versions or different passes that you made in our work history list. Now, when we look at our competitor displays, when we first go to the field, you have to open a job, and like you see in the video there's quite a few steps. How many nodes, what product, you have to name the product and select your application rate before you even open the job. And to me, the flexibility of doing that on the fly without having to close and reopen to make a small change is really powerful. So the one thing I will mention when we talk about the displays we're comparing, we were looking at a Viper Pro in this case. There is a Viper 4 Plus also available, but the job structure is still there. It's a much nicer display with interface, but again, the job structure opening and closing is still an additional step, and I feel that the way we set up our client farm field is seamless, and again, it's the same for any John Deere machine that you get in.
The other thing I want to call it is we talked about jobs from the mobile device, and you'll see later on how we set that up on the computer as well. But that's not required to operate the display in the field and to move between the different fields that you're applying in. But it's a really great complement, and I've worked with a lot of customers that are looking for a logistics management system, and some are paying 50 cents, $1 an acre for some of these software programs to do this. The My Jobs app is free, and so it integrates with the Ops Center, which is free. So you can assign that work, and all you need is a phone or a tablet to be compatible with that app. So it's a great way to integrate that. But also, if you're partnered up, let's say you're an ag service provider and you're going to go apply a field. If you're partnered up with the guy's field that you're going to go to, you can take his guidance lines that he used with planting and load them to the Gen 4 display. So now you have the same heading going back and forth through the field. You don't have to create a new guidance line or something like that. But of course, if you have Vision RowSense, which we'll cover later as well, it helps cover that too. So that's a neat thing with the My Jobs. And just to add a little bit more color to your conversation around data, the Gen 4 also allows us to connect to the shop, let's say when we pull in at night. So it has Wi-Fi connectivity. For some of you who are on the meeting that may not have good cell coverage at all, by AT&T today, maybe it's a separate cell company, if it's a Verizon or a Nymont or something like that, and you have your own hotspot, you can use that hotspot to connect to the machine to provide some connectivity there as well. So there's a lot of great options there, but that data movement comes from JD Link, is our primary mode of moving data wirelessly. And when you buy a new sprayer today, you get 5 years of JD Link Connect in base. So for 5 years, there's no annual fee for that.
Yep, absolutely. And if we look at machines that have maybe been on the ground for a little while longer, or if say you've got a 4730 sprayer that came out before JD Link was a thing, we can add JD Link to what I'll say legacy machines, if you will, and we can add that JD Link terminal, that cellular modem, connected up if you've got a 4640 or 2630 in the cab to enable things like data sync or wireless data transfer, remote display access, being able to view it in or outside of the cab. We can enable those features and basically make it just like it came from the factory with it. Which the cool part about that is we've got a program, or John Deere has a program going on right now, where you can buy that terminal for $300. It gives you all the hardware for the JD Link terminal. We need to customize, depending on what you're putting it in, if it's a 4730 sprayer or a 6R tractor or whatever. So we need to have that conversation, but that terminal also comes with 3 years of JD Link Connect on it as well, which is, again, huge savings. It's not another subscription you got to worry about year to year on the front end. So really powerful there and enables a lot of additional technology.
Connected machines are important, but it's even more important that you're connected to your data. In any operation, you cannot manage what you cannot measure. The John Deere Operations Center is a platform that allows you to see, collaborate, and direct your information to make insightful decisions at the end of the day. It also allows you to set up information about the equipment and the products you plan to use. So let's take a look on how you can leverage the John Deere Operations Center to do this, and how the information is also available on your mobile device. So let's take a look at some of the features of the John Deere Operations Center. Make sure that you're operating this in Chrome for the best user experience. So we're going to type in our username and our password to get signed in. And here you can see the landing page with all the different information. Today we're going to be taking a look at the John Deere Operations Center. On the left-hand side, we have a picture of the tractor. And this shows you the equipment that you have in your organization. When you take a look at your equipment, you can double check your offsets. Here you can see we need to put offsets in for the Hagie sprayer. Offsets are important because it controls the recording point for documentation and for things like section control. So it allows us to make sure that our measurements are correct before creating a setup file. Next, we're going to go down and take a look at Product Manager. Especially when it comes to crop care, we can take a look at the products along with the tank mixes that we're going to be applying in a field. There's even an incorporated calculator that allows us to take a look at what a full tank would be over 160 acres for the products that we want to apply. Here the products are water and Broadax. So next we're going to go to Menu and drop down to Setup Builder. Setup Builder is where you're going to create a setup file to send out to the equipment that's operating in the field. So first we're going to select the display type. For the most part, everybody's going to have the 2630 or Gen 4 display type, and we're going to name the file. Then we can go in and select what we want to send to the machine. Now with a Gen 4 display, you can select just one thing that you maybe want to send to the field, or we can go in and filter by specific attributes that we want to send. After we've selected what fields we want to send to the machine, we're going to move over to number 3 for equipment. Generally, I select all machines and all implements to send to the display, but if you're sending out just a particular piece of information to one machine, you can just select that one. Then we select the products that we want to send to the machine. In this case, I'm sending all pre and post-emerge tank mixes for both crops. We didn't include any operators. Again, there's no operators here, but if you do want to add an operator, there is an Add Operator button at the bottom of the screen. And then we can go to the summary and see what we're going to be sending to the machine. In the bottom right-hand corner, we're going to hit Create File. Once this file is started to be created, it will end up in Files Manager. You can take a look at it there. The great part about John Deere and JD-Link Connect is that once this setup file has been created, and it really doesn't take that long, it will automatically send it out to the machines that are enabled with wireless data transfer that you selected in the profile automatically. So there's not a second step after this part. Next, we're going to take a look at Files Manager, and let's say you have a prescription file that you want to send to the machine. Here I've selected a prescription file and said transfer to the 4830 sprayer. If it's a documentation file or an as-applied file, we can go in and we can select the customer that maybe we're doing the custom application for, and then share that file with that individual. If you want to take a look at the as-applied information, John Deere has products called Field Analyzer, and Field Analyzer Beta allows us to take a little deeper look at the as-applied information. Down at the bottom, you can see the timeline of events. The blue A's stand for application, the S's are for seeding, and T is for tillage, for example. So you can see throughout the growing season what map you're taking a look at. Here would be an application map from right at the end of June. Taking a look at the as-applied layer rate, and so if I want to see areas of the field that maybe didn't hit the target rate that we were after, we can click and highlight those. Maybe there's an edit that needs to be done. If you want to change the amount of acres that are in the field or the type of product that was applied, we can do that by clicking on the pencil. We can also take a look at our target rate and our application speed. In this particular map, you can see that the application speed was higher through that one portion of the field. And that tied back to our as-applied rate not meeting rate with the rest of the field. So you can see that that was the reasoning for that. And we can also take a look at total products applied and quantities of each product applied by scrolling down on the left-hand side. Now switch over to Field Analyzer Beta. Take a look at some of the similar information here. We do have a polygon selection tool that allows us to highlight a specific area in the field by drawing an irregular shape.
and then it will give us a summary about that information down in the field in the Summary tab. Another thing that we can do is then do a comparative data analysis. So in Operation 1, we have our tank mix application with the as-applied rate. In Operation 2, we have our average soybean yield for all of the years that we've been collecting soybean harvest information. So now we can take a look at, if our average yield was given bushel per acre for soybeans, how does that tie to the gallons per acre applied during our application time frame? So it allows you to dive in a little bit deeper into the data. Especially as we take a look at the fleet, we got a product called Machine Analyzer. It allows us to go in and do a little deeper dive on the machine-related performance in the operation. Here we can take a look at engine hours, we can take a look at utilization for working, transport, and idle time. We can also take a look at technology utilization rates. We can take a look at the type of features that were used, auto track, section control. And we can do this over a given period of time, or we can default to a specific time frame, but it allows you to look at this at a glance, and you can compare multiple machines against one another, or we can even export this information into an Excel format. So if you like to kind of analyze your information here, it gives you a little deeper dive on that data. If you want to take a quick look at the information related to what has been applied within a growing season, we're going to go to the agronomic report and choose application. And here we can take a look at all of the products applied. So if we want to just choose a specific field, we can generate a nice printable report that shows the products that have been applied within a growing season. We can also do this in John Deere's new area in the Operations Center called Analyze. It allows us to take a deeper dive into the as-applied information for this field. So we talked about jobs a little bit earlier. I want to cover real quick how we can interface with the smart device in the cab, whether that's a tablet or a phone, with Work Manager from the John Deere Operations Center. This allows us to create jobs and sync them with the mobile devices. So here we're going to create a new application job. We've selected the client and the work description and what date we want it to start. So maybe we're planning this for a future date, and we can put what the instructions are and the estimated amount of time it's going to take. Here we're going to import the field that we want to use. You can see it pulls in the field boundary. So if you remember from the Jobs app, this is handy because we can get turn-by-turn directions to the field. So we say, what machine are we going to send to the field and who's going to operate it? And then what products are we going to apply? So here we can go through the list and just say we're going to apply our soybean post-emerge application. We can pull up details about what's going to be applied in that application. And again, just what do we want commented on at the end of the job. So you can check them as you see fit. We can click Add Job. Once we click Add Job, the job will then show up on the operator's phone, so it's easy for them to see that. And let's say there's weather coming in and we need to change the order of the jobs for the day. We can do that right at the top of the screen by changing order, or we can change the status of that job here as well. Maybe somebody marked it finished and it's not, and it allows us to come in and make some of these adjustments. Finally, I want to talk about Team Manager. You are in control of your information. And it all starts with Teams when you want to share that information with another trusted partner. And it's easy as just having an email. So let's say we're working with the awesome agronomist in the area, and we're going to grant him access to our information. So as the combine goes through the field, it's collecting the information. As soon as we're out of the field, the agronomist can go in and grab it, maybe create a map-based prescription for, the strip till rig, or, for seeding for next year. We enter in their email and we choose then what levels of access we want them to have, along with what fields we want them to have access to. After you assign that permission, an email goes to your trusted partner. They receive that information and hit accept, and then they can support your organization right from their own John Deere Operations Center account. So that's just a quick overview of the John Deere Operations Center, where you can see, collaborate, and direct your information. So not only can you access the John Deere Operations Center online, but it also comes in the form of mobile. So here we're going to show it on an Apple iPhone. If you go to your app store and download the John Deere App Center, it's a great place to view all of the apps that are available from John Deere. Some of them we've covered today, such as My Jobs, My Maintenance. We're going to talk about Connect Mobile a little bit as well, but we're going to go to to My Operations. So once in here on the home screen, we can see all of the work that is being done in the operation. So you can see the progress up on top, currently set on seeding. As you scroll through the list, you can see what's been done on each day. So here we've got an application back on September 15th, and it shows us the actual rate, the target rates, and the totals applied. Once we click on it, we can then go into the field, pop the legend out on the right-hand side, take a look at the rates. If you slide from the bottom up, we get more summary information, work totals, and product rates, and then product totals that were applied. We can see what machine has been used. And the neat part with mobile is that it has a section for weather. And so this is demo data that we're showing here now, but it interfaces with AccuWeather, and it pulls in temperature and wind speed information for that area during that time of the day. Now, if you have a machine equipped with mobile weather, you then can toggle it to machine, and it will allow you to see the actual information collected from mobile weather on that sprayer. If you have a report that you want to share with somebody, you can click share and then add the operator name and license to the report. This is handy for your operators when they are in the machine if they want to include that information, or they can simply just skip that step. There's an option for that as well. Then we can choose the customer or person that we want to send that to. And so it creates basically a PDF document that you can text to that person of your choice. From here, we're going to hit the menu button, and it's going to bring up the field list. We can also take a look at equipment that was used on the fields, as well as any flags. Finally, the third button on the bottom of the screen is called Analyze. Once we get into here, we're going to take a look at all application. We can look by fields, we can look by products, or we can take a look at the actual work that was done on that field. You can also see down at the bottom there's a 1, 2, and a 3. So as you look at this information, we can take a look at area, we can take a look at the totals, and we can take a look at the speed for that particular product. The My Operations app also allows you to take a look at flags in the field. So here you can see we've got 2 flags in this location. If you do want to add flags, you simply press the flag with the plus sign next to it to drop a flag on the map. You can either do it at your own location that you're currently standing in, or you can manually place the flag in the field. From there, you can add notes, you can add pictures and additional details to what's going on. That flag then is shared to all other people within your operations center. So if you want to mark a rock in the field, somebody else with their phone can see that you've done that and can get turn-by-turn directions out to the field to pick the rock up. We can also get turn-by-turn directions to this field as well. So you can see this field here was applied down in Kansas, so it gives us that easy turn-by-turn from the My Operations app as well.
So let's talk a little bit about what we just seen there. The Operations Center has a lot of setup capabilities right on the computer, but not a lot of people sit in front of their computer all day long, right? You're out and about and you're in the machines and you're running between fields. And so the fact that it's available on mobile devices like phones and tablets is just a huge value driver in the Operations Center use. And so they continue to add more and more to the functionality, especially on the mobile platform with the Operations Center. And we find that many customers have three main goals in their operation, and they pertain to really these buckets of agronomics, financials, or logistics. And the John Deere Operations Center allows you to view some of these things within the analytics that John Deere provides, but they also allow you to connect with other software companies or partners to leverage their analytics with the data that you have. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're in control of what happens with your data, who you partner with, and how it's shared. Another thing that we see with the Operations Center is the number of updates that it has. Since it's an online platform, it's easy for Deere to push updates out, and we see sometimes multiple updates throughout the month. And so that makes it really nice, because as new things come out and as new technologies are integrated into machines, it allows them to easily update the data platform to help do the analytics behind it.
Absolutely. It happens fast and it happens seamless, which compared to like Apex, our old desktop software, having those new features come out basically in real time. Once Deere is verified that they're working, they hit the switch and that they're delivered to us right away. And it's been a great platform for us so far. And there's a lot of great things coming too. Again, we see the updates. Just earlier in the month, Deere came out with an update where we could see location history, so where our machines are or where they've been in the field. Prior, it was basically 60 days it would store that information. Now going forward, we can see up to 2 years of history. So if I want to go back and look at a specific date and looking at an application map, why did I do what I did here? We can actually go back and look at the path the machine took, again, for 2 years, which is incredible. So being able to see that information is really powerful. So things like that are really important and really help. The other part that's really interesting about some of the updates is we now have the ability to edit our acre totals. So those of you, if you think about harvesting, especially if you've got a 35, 40, or even a 45-foot, John Deere just released a 50-foot header too. You think about those header widths, the overlap that we can get from fields, depending on the shape and things like that, can really have an impact on the totals that get documented. Now being able to go back and edit the total acre so it matches either the boundary acres, or you might match it up with your FSA acres. Having the ability to do that, then the average totals get disseminated across the correct amount of acres going forward. That's a really nice feature as well.
Yeah, and the editability of that, and just as we're changing tank mixes and things like that, from where it first started, the Operations Center continues to add more and more into the ability to edit what's coming in, so that your records are accurate with what was applied. If there's any adjustments that need to be made, sometimes it's for planting. Sometimes I forget to change the hybrid, which is real common. So those sorts of things, it's nice to be able to make those adjustments too. Mm-hmm. So. With the Operations Center, we did see on the landing page where I signed in there that there's an option to create an account. So if you don't have one today, or maybe you're still using Apex, you want to upload your data to there, you can do that by creating an Operations Center account right from the main landing page there. And then you can add in people from your operation and connect with trusted partners and software providers. But the other thing I got to do, Nate, is put a plug in for our guys at the support center here at C&B Operations. And I know Wade's on the chat, so Wade, thanks for being on, and for everybody else that's on there with him, Scott, Dre, Chris Seifert, Steve Torkelson. They're all there to support our employees and our customers from 7:30 in the morning to 10:30 at night Central Standard Time, 6 days a week. And so they're well versed in the operations center and likely have worked a lot with everybody else. But with the customer's permission, we can actually go in and assist them live, and doing some of those post edits or creating an account, or if they have questions on that information, and that's value, right? At the end of the day, to help you, because we understand that you have a lot of other things going on in your operation. So their telephone number is 507-200-3060. Again, 507-200-3060. So if you haven't had a chance to talk to that crew before, highly encourage you to reach out and touch base with them.
Absolutely. I feel like now is the point where I'm supposed to say operators are standing by.
That's right. Yeah, the phones are ringing. That's right. Yeah.
You bet. Yeah, so we've we covered kind of the setup and some of the analysis of the data, but I also want to make sure we talk about the fact that John Deere has a whole suite of products on the precision ag side that tie directly into our machines. Things like John Deere Vision and RowSense on our sprayers. New for this year, and if you haven't heard yet, here you go. John Deere has AutoTrack, RowSense, and Vision available on our Hagie sprayers, which is huge. Think about high crop applications. So the point our corn is at in most of our trade area, it's fungicide season, big time. And having the row feelers allowing us to go hands off, it's a huge thing for operators, and it's a lot less stressful. You can focus on the operation at hand rather than white knuckling the steering wheel. So with our Vision cameras, Deere did an internal study and found that operators are able to basically look ahead 13% less when they're operating the Vision RowSense system. So being able to focus on precisely placing the products, making sure your efficacy is where you want it to be, and you're doing the job that you need to do. It's not cheap to apply chemical and apply fertilizer, so being able to focus on the task at hand is really important.
What about additional technology in the cab, though, Nate? We talk about phones and things like that. Is there any other things that Deere has that a guy with a sprayer might be interested in?
Absolutely. Yeah, our machines today, from 2018 up through now, they have a feature in them. We talked about the wireless features of the Gen 4 display earlier. The other side of that is the Gen 4 display is also able to act as a conduit to connect to an iPad using a program or an app that we call Connect Mobile. Connect Mobile allows you to actually look at the products being applied, very similar to your Gen 4, but it allows us to look at trends in the mapping. So in a sprayer, for instance, we're able to see a map on rate deviation. Okay, so how far off of my set rate am I getting? It could be plugged strainers, it could be, I ran low on product at one point. You can pull up that map, again, in an iPad format, so it's a little quicker than punching around on your display. You can take it out of the cab with you and scout the field if you want, and allow you to see that. So we've got the rate deviation, there's a map for pressure. So when we talked about ExactApply yesterday, maintaining a constant pressure is huge, and doing a comparison between a non-ExactApply machine versus one with, it's night and day. The ability to control that is huge, and it's really important that we have that as a consideration going forward. The other part I like, one of the newer features actually, on Connect Mobile, we have the integration of flags. So if we think about, and coming into harvest, those of you that run combines, if we put a flag down in a field, either on our phone or from our computer, that'll pull into Connect Mobile, and as we get close to that flag, it might be a tile intake, it might be a fence post. When you're talking 9-foot tall corn, and we've had good moisture in a lot of the trade area, we've got really tall corn. If you're doing a fungicide application, you might not see a tile ditch or whatever it is. The flags on Connect Mobile will actually pop up an alert to the operator, warn you that you're within so many feet, which you can set. Yeah, and allow you to basically have an audible and visual notification that there's an obstacle to be aware of.
Yeah, it's huge. And so let's take a look at some of these products that John Deere has to offer in their full suite of precision ag hardware, both tied to the machine and through mobile products.
When it comes to technology, John Deere offers industry-exclusive, industry-leading common components that are developed by John Deere for John Deere. So if a problem arises, it's a green-on-green advantage. We don't look to other companies to put their technology on our sprayers. Some of this technology is integrated AutoTrack right from the factory. BoomTrack Pro for consistent height and application throughout the field. John Deere section control, eliminating overlap and taking advantage of the industry-leading number of sections per boom section that is offered through John Deere sprayers. Integrated JD Link, sending trouble codes back to the dealership, but also enabling wireless data transfer and in-field data sharing. Now you can send and receive files and prescriptions for quicker invoicing and for quicker application. It also enables you to do machine-to-machine communication, so sharing guidance lines and coverage maps optimizes AutoTrack and John Deere section control. JD Link also enables remote display access, which with your permission allows another user to view your screen, so you can assist the operator through simple steps and diagnostics from a mobile device or any computer. John Deere Mobile Weather also allows us to capture real weather information such as temperature, wind speed, wind direction, humidity, and delta T live as you move through the field. Couple all this together with the John Deere Operations Center and you have an end-to-end precision ag solution for your John Deere application equipment. One key feature that we want to call out that was installed on the John Deere sprayers and that we've seen on the Case sprayer was camera guidance. John Deere calls this Vision Row Sense. If you're driving through a field of corn that was planted at 36,000 seeds per acre, the number of plants damaged in 1 second of you getting on top of the row with a tire at 15 miles an hour is 91 plants. Now that happens in the split second. If you're off for the row for more than those, you're just multiplying the damage. Vision Row Sense uses industry-exclusive cameras to tell the difference between where the row is and where it is not and drives the sprayer through the field. Once the crop reaches canopy, then we use the feelers mounted down by the bottom of the front tires to feel the row. That also steers the machine through the field. John Deere Vision Row Sense is available for John Deere sprayers as well as Hagie sprayers. And Raven also makes a camera system for vision guidance. So here we're looking at the Raven VSN camera. You can see that there are 2 different cameras incorporated with this guidance camera found on the Case 4440 sprayer that we took a look at in this scenario. They do operate 2 cameras here, an RGB camera, which is a camera that sees red, green, blue. And the secondary camera is similar to what you might find with like NDVI, although it's not that exact camera, but it's designed to see some differences in the crop versus the ground to help steer the sprayer through the field. Bring the tablet to the cab with John Deere Connect Mobile to view higher res data from your machine. Operating Connect Mobile in your cab allows for additional displays to be in the cab. With more screen real estate, operators have more options to view current and historical as-applied data. The Gen 4 display shows aggregated machine data, while Connect Mobile takes it to the next level, showing data per row or per nozzle. In 4 Series sprayers, you can view mapping information related to rate deviation, pressure, and ground speed. For ExactApply, it will even show estimated droplet size. One can even do a side-by-side map to view as-planted variety information to prevent any opportunity for misapplication in the field. John Deere Integrated Technology provides factory-installed hardware for every facet of the crop care experience with an easy-to-use interface common across all John Deere platforms. Connect Mobile is a free download to your mobile device with no subscription.
There's a lot of really great points, Jeff, there that we looked at on some of the different integrated technology. A couple things I do want to just mention. On the Vision Row Sense side of it, there are certain crops that we're compatible with too. So we look at corn, soybeans, wheat, canola, or some of the main ones anyway. And then also, again, just the height differences. When we switch from the camera to the contact feeler Row Sense system is really important. The part that's really nice about John Deere's Row Sense system, if you're on a combine today, and it works with a 2630 or a Gen 4 display, we should mention. But if you're on a combine today and you've got Row Sense unlocked on one of your displays, that same activation is what works with our Row Sense systems on our sprayers. Yep. And for our sprayers that come from the factory, they're unlocked right away. So if you want to add a system later, it's actually takes a pretty big chunk out of the price it makes it enabled for that technology.
Right.
We switch over and talk about the Connect Mobile side. Again, there's a lot of things there that we can talk about. We could have a whole class on just Connect Mobile and Operations Center. But a couple of my things for Connect Mobile. First off, we've said iPad Air 2s have been compatible with Connect Mobile in the past. Going forward, those will still work to some degree, but they're not supported anymore. So the iPad, the 7th generation, basically 2016 iPad Pros going forward, and the generation of iPads since then, they've got a new processing chip in them, basically. So the demands are also getting a little bit higher, but the other ones will still work, but just understand that there might be some glitches here or there because of the demands. But those Connect Mobile app, the cool part about that is if I've got a combine, a planter, a sprayer, I can take my iPad, go from one machine to another. It's all in one app now that allows me to bounce between those different machines. The data gets downloaded to that iPad as well, so I can go in and do a field review and look at any of the maps that have been documented. And we look at our planters, for instance. If I want to look at a down pressure map, or if I want to see turn compensation, it shows up clear as day on our mobile apps. So with Connect Mobile, those are some really great features, things to also look forward to if you don't have those. And we can put Connect Mobile in machines that didn't come from the factory with it too. Any 30 series sprayer we can put Connect Mobile in. Which is really kind of a nice feature. Other thing I'll mention on the Gen 4 displays, we can put a Gen 4 display in a 4730 or any 30 series sprayer as well. Or if you have an early 4 series with an armrest 2630, we can replace that with a 4640 universal Gen 4 display, and it works seamlessly.
Yeah, you just need to have 20-1 software, I believe, is the connecting point there to make that work. So yeah, that's huge, right, for having that Gen 4 technology throughout the operation. The other thing, if you've been watching the clinics and you may have a John Deere self-propelled sprayer, but you may have a pull-type spinner spreader or something like that, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the liquid and dry rate controllers for universal applications from John Deere. And I've always called them the Swiss Army knife controller because the liquid and dry rate controllers from John Deere allow us to control those types of products on pull-type sprayers, pull-type spreaders. We've done, Lorals, or we've converted some of these, red or yellow or, olive-colored machines over to John Deere products or John Deere product control. And so then you can tie in JD Link into that, and you get all the benefits and features that we see and have talked about here today as well. So just the potential there is endless depending upon the application that you're working with today. So as we take a look at coming to the end of the day today here, I just want to recap a few takeaways. And the first one is just the ease and the speed of the use of the John Deere products for the operators and the controller of the operation too, right? For like a co-op or something like that, through the Gen 4 family of displays and having those machines connected through JD Link.
Absolutely, that's a great one, Jeff. My number one is probably just the integrated technology. The Gen 4 displays, the Connect Mobile, I can put Vision RoSense on those machines very, very easily. A lot of them are wired up and ready to go if they don't already come with the technology baked into the machine.
Right, and you take complete ownership then if anything goes wrong, but you also set yourself up for success. Things shouldn't go wrong, right? Because it's all underneath the same roof. But that complete suite of products helps manage data with the John Deere Operations Center paired with that suite of products that run through the field. So those are really the top three things that we wanted all of you to glean from today's conversation. And just like all of the other sessions that we've put on the last 2 days, we always have a special at the end of the session. And so I just want to recap here a little bit of a new service offering that we have in the Precision Ag Department called C&B Data Services. And it's all focused upon helping our customers go to the field with confidence in their operation and helping them grow through informed data decisions. And so a few different offerings that we have here. We have two different levels of service. The first one is focused around helping to make sure that the foundational items such as client farm field, guidance lines, and equipment are set up in your Ops Center account and ready to go to the field. If you dislike working with this information to get your equipment ready to go to the field, this package is for you. Our team of trained professionals will take care of this and get a setup file created for you, so you're ready to go to the field. This is offered at retail value today at 50 cents an acre. We will be sending out the promotional offer to those who are part of today's webinar event for at a 50% discount, so you can sign up for 25 cents an acre underneath this program. Now, level 2 offering here includes everything that was in level 1, but we also will help manage boundaries. And then if you have certain partners that you work with, maybe it's a co-op that analyzes your information and writes prescriptions with you, we'll help with that relationship and make sure they have the data that they need and get it back in so we can help get it onto the machine. As well as you plan for next year, or maybe it's for this fall, just input management, making sure that we got the variety locator file ready for harvest. And as you prepare for next season's planting, that we've got all the products listed and the hybrids listed correctly. Part of that is just making sure that at the end of the day, you know, when you hit the drop down on your display, that you don't see a crop like cotton or something, you know, that we don't work with today. So we clean some of that up as well. In addition to those 3 things, there's more. We have report generation here where we'll print off the as-applied maps for you, as well as doing post-calibrations. We get on the phone with you or sit down at the kitchen table, if COVID will allow us to talk about post-calibration with any of that information. And we'll provide 1 year of JD Link Connect for machines that currently do not have it on the farm. So a lot of value add here. Again, $1.50 retail. We're going to offer it to you being on the call at a 50% discount. So those are our offerings. Be sure to sign up today. We've got you can contact anybody at C&B Operations on the sales team or the Precision Ag team to help you through that as well. So we had one more call out at the end, I think, Nate, right, that you wanted to cover. So
You bet. So we've had 3 days of kind of high-level information on sprayers, the Precision Ag, the solution system features. One thing, if I were sitting in your guys' seat, the one thing I'd be asking is, what's next? Where can I learn more?
How could it get better?
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. How could it get better? Well, replacing a presenter maybe.
Yeah, right.
But so one of the things we are really excited about is we have a test plot this year, and we've got the opportunity to test some products, some machines, and some equipment out on the field.
Farming practices.
Yeah. So we're working hard to get good analytics and good agronomic information off these plots. And our original plan was to have a harvest event out at this plot, but again, with restrictions the way they are, we're going to be going to a virtual format with that as well. So we're going to be working hard putting together information from that to help deliver some information and also show some really cool new features on equipment as well.
Right, and we planted 79-day corn there early on in the year, so it's actually coming into black layer right now. So it'll give us the opportunity to try out some of these things ahead of the season, so it'll give you the opportunity to make some decisions on how your machine's equipped prior to harvest. And we're going to show a lot of technologies and integrations between combines and grain carts and so on. And in conjunction with that, all the field trials. Once we harvest the whole plot, we'll have a recap of how all of those trials turned out at the end of the year.
Absolutely. So in the meantime, make sure you check out our YouTube page. We've got Technology Thursday videos and a whole host of other informational videos available. And watch your emails, because we'll be sending out an invite to a future event and continuing to do more in-depth looks at equipment, agronomics, and the benefits that those pieces of equipment can bring to your operation.
The C&B Precision Ag app is another one that we'd invite you to go to the App Store and download for your Apple or Android devices. It's got a lot of great videos, quick guides, tutorials, a map of our RTK base stations, and all there. So lots of resources. We're committed to continue bringing all of these resources to you and hope that they continue to provide value. Definitely. So on behalf of Nate Jansen and myself and all of us here at C&B Operations, thank you for attending and thank you for your business. We are committed to being your dealer of choice.